I was waiting in the pharmacy for my prescription when my phone buzzed. It was my only daughter, Sophia. Her tone was distant as she said, "Mom, we're heading to Asia tomorrow. I sold your lakeside cottage and your vintage sedan. We needed the funds. Goodbye." She ended the call abruptly. 43 years of nurturing her, putting her first, and she tossed me aside like yesterday's news. Yet I exhaled deeply and grinned because there was a secret my beloved daughter was unaware of. My name is Alina Harper. I am 68 years old. Up until that instant, I believed I understood my daughter. I had lost my husband Thomas 5 months prior. He died from a stroke during our routine lunch, just as we had shared for 43 years. That day, he had prepared my favorite sandwich and tea. As usual, he pecked my cheek and whispered, "Afternoon, darling." Those were his final words. Since then, Sophia had been more involved in my life, or so I assumed. She visited twice weekly. She assisted with burial plans and drove me to appointments. She even urged me to get a routine health scan. "Mom, you must look after yourself now. That you're on your own," she would remark with a grin I mistook for affection. But now I realized it was for her gain. The lakeside cottage had been our haven for decades. Thomas and I purchased it when Sophia was 13 through years of toil and saving. Every winter, we retreated there, creating lasting bonds, marking anniversaries and holidays. Sophia brought her dates, and eventually her spouse, Victor. I would prepare meals, tidy, and handle chores. It was our cherished ritual. I never imagined she viewed it merely as assets. And the sedan, that classic Chevrolet, Thomas cherished like a treasure. He polished it every Saturday, maintained it meticulously, and always garaged it safely. Sophia knew its sentimental value to me. It still carried his essence in the upholstery. When she disconnected, I remained on that stiff blue bench amid other patrons. For the first time in weeks, I didn't weep. A peculiar serenity washed over me, one absent since Thomas' passing. Because at that juncture, I recalled something I had overlooked. 2 days before his death, Thomas gave me a sealed folder. "Alina, store this in your nightstand. If I am gone, open it when you're prepared, but only then." I stashed it without much consideration. Post-funeral, amid sorrow and tasks, it slipped my mind. But it awaited me at home. The pharmacist summoned me. I collected my medication and departed, pondering that folder, Sophia's chilly demeanor, and how Victor likely orchestrated it all. He had always resented me, seeing me as an inconvenience. I strolled to the train station. According to Sophia, I no longer owned a vehicle. As I waited, a faint smile emerged. There was irony in this ordeal. My daughter believed she had stripped me bare. But she was ignorant that Thomas, my dear Thomas, was ever the strategist. The train came, and I took a seat near the door. I observed the suburbs pass, homes, shops, folks, hurrying with their own burdens, their own mysteries. But before we continue, I want to extend a very specially invitation to you. Subscribe the channel and leave a like. This helps me see that you support me and enjoy my stories, and comment down below which city you are watching us from right now. Let's continue. I harbored mine too, soon to unveil them. Upon arriving home, I headed to my bedroom. I retrieved the folder from the nightstand, precisely where I placed it. My fingers shook mildly as I held it. I sensed multiple papers within. Thomas had inscribed my name in his precise script. I settled on our shared bed of many years and inhaled deeply. Dusk was falling, and the residence grew dim with known shades that no longer intimidated me. I unsealed the folder, deliberately, like revealing a surprise. What lay inside altered everything. What I discovered left me breathless. There were official papers, titles, financial records, and a personal note from Thomas. Tears welled as I read his familiar penmanship. "Dearest Alina, if you're perusing this, I am no longer beside you. Pardon me for concealing this during my lifetime, but I aim to shield you from stress. Through the years, I channeled our reserves into real estate and ventures. We possess not solely the lakeside cottage, We own 4 additional holdings, including the office complex, housing Sophia and Victor. We also hold stakes in 2 firms valued beyond your dreams. You are affluent, my dear. You always were, but now it's documented. My hands quivered as I scanned the files. There were titles to residences in various districts, a suburban villa, a modest inn by the river, and yes, the 12-floor office complex where my daughter resided. Thomas had been the discreet proprietor for 8 years, but registered all under a firm I was unfamiliar with. Per the documents, I was the exclusive heir to that entity. There were also account summaries for unknown balances with figures that appeared surreal. Thomas had driven trucks for 38 years, but evidently he was a shrewd financier too. Every cent we conserved, every compromise, he amplified quietly without my knowledge. In the note, Thomas clarified, he kept it hidden to prevent my anxiety or Sophia's awareness of our true wealth. You know, Alina, our daughter, if she learned of our abundance, her demeanor might shift. I desire her to cherish us for ourselves, not our possessions. What a twist. Our daughter deserted us, assuming we had not when truly we had abundance. That evening sleep evaded me. I roamed the home, caressing the aged decor and trinkets Sophia had derided as obsolete. I gazed at the wall portraits, particularly one of her at 7 perched on Thomas' knee, giggling. Where had that innocent child vanished? When did she turn so detached, so scheming? The following morning, the phone rang. It was Sophia once more. Her voice was warmer, but I had grown cautious of such fluctuations. Mom, how are you? I meant to inform you, we transferred the proceeds from the cottage and sedan. We placed your portion in your account. It's modest, but it'll sustain you briefly, while seeking something compact. My portion, I inquired, maintaining composure. Yes, Mom. We couldn't abandon you entirely. We allocated 25%. That's equitable, isn't it? We require the capital for our Asian venture. Victor has a remarkable opportunity there. 25% of my belongings. How benevolent. I see, darling. And your departure time. This evening. Our luggage is ready. We'll be away at minimum 4 months. Possibly longer if it thrives. But fret not, Mom. Upon return, we'll aid you in locating a tiny flat. Something suited to your circumstances. Suited to my circumstances. As if she grasped them. All right, Sophia, safe travels. Oh, Mom. I knew you'd comprehend. You've always been so understanding. We adore you immensely. She disconnected. I lingered with the receiver in grasp. For the first time in weeks, I chuckled. I laughed as I hadn't since Thomas' demise. The absurdity was hilarious. My daughter had plundered me, evicted me from my abode, addressed me with insufferable superiority, all to finance an Asian escapade likely doomed. But what stung most wasn't the funds. It was the simplicity with which she discarded me. 43 years devoted to her of forfeiture of boundless affection, and she erased me via a brief call. That inflicted true pain. I verified my online banking. Indeed, they deposited a sum they deemed ample, but to me, it was derision. They undersold the cottage, probably for quick cash, and the sedan for scraps. That afternoon, from my pain, I observed Sophia and Victor pack into a taxi. He hauled 3 large bags. She carried a lavish handbag. I saw them chuckle, embrace, and scheme. They resembled youths thrilled for escapade. They never glanced my way, never bid farewell. When the taxi departed, I sat at the dining area with tea and Thomas' papers arrayed. I needed to decide. I could summon an attorney, reclaim my assets, retrieve all pilfered. But intuition suggested a superior approach, a more instructive method. I contacted Mr. Lawson, the attorney who managed Thomas' matters. He attended the burial, offered sympathies, and urged me to reach out if required. Now I required him. Mrs. Harper, glad to hear from you. How fare you? I'm managing Mr. Lawson. I require an urgent meeting. I discovered some of Thomas' files I don't fully grasp. Certainly visit my office tomorrow morn. I'll await you. That night, I slumbered peacefully for the first time in weeks. I dreamed of Thomas. He lounged in his preferred spot, perusing a book as every evening. Upon seeing me, he beamed and uttered, "It's time, darling. Time you asserted yourself." I awoke with an odd sensation. It wasn't pure joy, but nor the grief of recent months. It was resolve. For the first time post Thomas' death, I possessed clear intent. I would reclaim mine, but not as Sophia anticipated. Next morning, I attired more meticulously than usual. I donned my navy blouse, the one Thomas said enhanced my grace. I styled my hair, applied subtle cosmetics. Gazing in the mirror, I beheld a woman absent for ages. I saw a resilient woman. Mr. Lawson's office was uptown. It was a contemporary struct, with glass facades and sleek halls. He welcomed me warmly, but upon viewing the files, his visage transformed. "Mrs. Harper, this exceeds my expectations." Thomas was astute. "See per these proprietor of I know Mr. Lawson. I've examined them. What I seek is legal options. Mr. Lawson detailed all was valid. I held rightful ownership of those assets." He affirmed what I suspected. The cottage's sale was unlawful, as Sophia lacked authority. "We can retrieve the cottage promptly, Mrs. Harper, and pursue charges against your daughter for deceit." "No, Mr. Lawson. I decline charges. I prefer another path. I wish secrecy for now. Can you assist?" He regarded me intrigued, but assented. "Naturally, you're my client. What do you require?" "I need you to quietly recover the lakeside cottage. Annul that illicit transaction, and aid me in assuming true command of my holdings, especially the office complex my daughter occupies." "Understood. It'll span weeks, but achievable." "Ideal. And Mr. Lawson, ensure anonymity for now." Exiting his office, I felt roused from prolonged slumber. I wandered uptown avenues, observing people, edifices, the ongoing bustle. For me, all had shifted. I had a strategy. Ensuing weeks were oddest of my existence. Publicly, I was the destitute widow all knew. But covertly, I was prosperous woman, stealthily directing asset reclamation. Mr. Lawson operated swiftly, updating me periodically on advancements. I opted to remain in my residence meantime. It was mine, though Sophia likely expected my relocation to a studio. Mornings I arose, dined at the table Thomas, and I shared decades, then strolled the area. Neighbors greeted with blend of sympathy and interest typical for fresh widows. Beatrice, my longtime adjacent, came one evening as I tended the yard. "Elena, honey, is it true Sophia departed for Asia, leaving you so?" "Yes, Beatrice, she went with Victor. They have prospects there. And your sustenance, dear. We know Thomas left scant." If she knew, I mused. "Fret not, Beatrice. I'll endure. Need aid. I can deliver meals, assist with errands. You're gracious, but I'm fine truly." Such exchanges recurred. The grocer, the florist, the kiosk vendor. All spoke softly, as to the afflicted, and id nod beam thank their worry. Internally, I relished this charade. It resembled dual existence. Mr. Lawson phoned one Tuesday morn. "Mrs. Harper, positive update. I nullified the cottage's sale. Buyers were unaware of fraud, so refunded sans issue. The cottage is yours anew. Superb, Mr. Lawson. And the complex where Sophia resides, that's trickier. You've owned via the firm, but administrative tweaks needed for direct oversight. Another 10 days, perhaps." "Splendid. Inform me." Post-call, I sat with tea contemplating Sophia. She had been in Asia 2 weeks sans contact. No ring, no text, no note. To her, I vanished once she secured needed funds. But I sensed that would alter shortly. I chose to inspect the lakeside cottage. I rode the train riverside the path Thomas, and I traversed countless times. The cottage stood as recalled cozy azure, with deck facing the water. New owners added bird feeders, but else unchanged. I perched on nearby bench observing for 30 minutes. I reminisced winter eves, when Sophia was young skating on frozen like erecting snow forts. Thomas roasting marshmallows while I brewed cocoa indoors. Sophia introducing pals, then suitors, then Victor. All joyful instances, she diminished to trade. A middle-aged lady emerged from the cottage spotting me. "You all right, Mom?" "Yes, thanks. Just reminiscing." "I knew prior owners." "Yes, intimately. Pity the occurrence. They claimed the senior woman was ailing, needing swift sale. We deemed it bargain but sale invalid. Had to return it. Knew them personally. No via agents, but her daughter managed as mother couldn't. Tragic. If she grasped the real tragedy, I pondered. Glad you retained funds." "Yes, fortunately. Though now seek alternate. We adored this." I departed with weighted spirit. It wasn't funds aching. It was Sophia's casual deceit about me. She fabricated my ailment tale. Used my alleged frailty to rationalize deeds. To her I wasn't sentient being, but barrier to eliminate. That eve I rang Mr. Lawson again. Mr. Lawson aid me further. "I want Thomas' sedan reclaimed too." "That'll be tougher, Mrs. Harper. Sedan titled to you, but daughter held power allowing sale." "How?" "Evidently, you signed power post husband's death months back." "Recall." There the instant Sophia commenced plotting. I dimly recollected signing forms she presented claiming for burial and estate ease. Grief clouded I signed unread. How foolish. I see Mr. Lawson. Retrieval possible. We can attempt, but need prove deception or duress in signing. Proceed. I desire all restored. Subsequent weeks I forged odd pattern. Morns I portrayed known poor widow. Out for essentials, chatting locals upholding facade. Afternoons I turned entrepreneur. Studied Thomas files, conferred with Mr. Lawson, plotted steps. Learned finance, I never deemed necessary. Found Thomas shrewder than imagined. Each investment deliberate. The complex housing Sophia wasn't just rental income. It sat in booming zone. Also learned Victor Sophia's mate had substantial debt. He borrowed using their suite as security, unaware he wasn't true owner. Banks discovering this, he'd face dire straits. Mr. Lawson called one Thursday with key news. "Mrs. Harper, paperwork complete. You command all holdings." Also retrieved Thomas sedan. Buyer was associate. When explained, he consented return for minor recompense. Outstanding, Mr. Lawson. Now assist one more. Send my daughter a notice. What sort? Eviction order. Line went quiet. Mrs. Harper certain. Utterly. She deemed me insignificant. Now shall discover my true import. Understood. Send to Asia. No deliver upon return. I suspect soon. I wasn't mistaken. That eve Beatrice rushed over with local buzz. Elena heard Victor Banks in hot water. My cousin there said probing loans he secured with sweet but sweet isn't his. Truly. And Sophia unaware reportedly. They say shall return from Asia to resolve. Messy. Yes, worst Victor deceived her on Asian deal. No deal, just debt evasion. Flawless. All unfolded as foreseen. Sophia trusted Victor, sacrificed our bond for him, now realizing he wasn't whom she thought. That night, I lounged on deck with coffee staring at clouds. Thomas claimed clouds were guardians of fulfilled lives, overseeing kin from above. If so, he was there observing his scheme perfectly. Thanks, darling, I murmured to heavens. Thanks for safeguarding me post-departure. Next day, Mr. Lawson rang early. Mrs. Harper update. Your daughter landed alone at Alone. Yes, Victor remained in Asia. Rumors of major quarrel. I see. Notice sent. Today. Shall get tomorrow. I ended call, stood in dining, sensing, blend anxiety and eagerness. After weeks covert scheming, first overt action near. Sophia would learn her mother wasn't helpless prey, she presumed. Sophia reached her suite Wednesday eve. I knew via Beatrice with area scouts, who informed next day. Elena, your daughter, returned last night. Saw her enter with single bag, but appeared dreadful ashen shadowed, as if wept entire trip. Solo utterly so. And odd Elena, when concierge sought keys she lacked. Had to request manager open with spare. Intriguing. Victor held keys, meaning likely he opted non-return. Or Sophia uncovered something, fled. Anyway, my daughter home, soon to receive my welcome token. Mr. Lawson phoned that afternoon. Mrs. Harper notice, delivered hour ago. Concierge confirmed personal receipt. Perfect. Timeline given. 20 days vacate per norms. But Mrs. Harper sure. She is my daughter, yes. Mr. Lawson, my daughter, ousted me from home via short call. Sold my items sans ask. Treated me as refuse. Now shall grasp actions, bear results. Understood. Just ensure you pondered ramifications. I have Mr. Lawson. All. That night insomnia struck. I lay envisioning Sophia's reaction, reading notice. Initial bewilderment, then denial, then alarm. Shed think error or scam. But verifying shed find all legal. Next day phone rang 7 a.m. Sophia desperate. Mom needs speak urgently. Morning, darling. How was Asia? Mom, no time now. Got bizarre notice yesterday. Says vacate suite 20 days. Must be mistake, right? Know anything? Eviction odd. From whom? Company unknown. Wait letter Thomas Ventures LLC. Know this. Thomas named firm poetic. No, darling, never heard. Sure legitimate. That's what probing. Mom aid me. Don't know do. Victor ditched me Asia. Fled with another, now return this. Don't comprehend occurring. Confirmation. Victor abandoned her. Likely funds depleted or home issues graver. Poor Sophia. Sacrificed kin for worthless. Sorry, darling. Where now? Sweet, but how long? Mom can visit. Need talk someone. No one else. Irony flawless. Now sans man, she abandoned me for she recalled mother. Certainly, darling, come anytime. En route. I disconnected, gazed mirror. Had perfect this act. Donned simple beige outfit, bun hair, rehearsed, worried, resigned mom look. Sophia arriving, would see expected frail, deserted widow her creation. Sophia arrived hour later. Opening door shocked her state. Thinner deep shadows, pricey attire rumpled, unkempt. Eyes swollen, wept. Mom, she uttered, seemed hug, but halted, recalling our rift. Enter, darling. Tea want? Yes, please. We sat dining WH. Ere I read Thomas files weeks prior. Sophia appeared diminutive in chair, lost like child confessing troubles. Mom, sorry how left. No, treated poorly. Past, darling. No, isn't. Treated horribly. Said awful, now voice cracked. Now alone. What occurred, Victor? Fled with 23-year-old tour guide Tokyo. Turns no venture Asia. All falsehood. Wanted escape debts here, use cottage sale, funds his flight. All debts. Yes, Mom, numerous. Owed years loans using sweet collateral. Now learn wasn't owner. How? Here chance. Don't know, darling. Assets complex. Issue banks pursue me debts. Say married so responsible. An eviction atop. Mom, don't know do. No funds. No work. No residence. She wept. Genuine tears, utter despair. Moment my maternal heart yielded. Wanted embrace, soothe, assure, fine. But recalled her chill pharmacy call. Ease she discarded. Way addressed as burden. Spoke attorney notice. No funds attorney mom. Spent all Asia. Victor took remnants fleeing woman. So plan. Don't know. Thought perhaps stay you temporarily, till job small place. Question awaited. After evicting selling treating refuse, now wanted rescue from own fallout. Certainly darling always your home. Sophia surprised as if unexpected ease. Really mom after all. You're my daughter Sophia. Unchanging. She rose hugged. Desperate grasp drowning clinging soul anchor. I reciprocated, but sans prior boundless love. Now calculation strategy. Thanks mom. Promise job soon. No burden. Fret not now. Rest regain then options. Sophia departed afternoon fetch items sweet. I lingered dining pondering ease. She came as planned shattered desperate optionless, best suspected nil. Her still poor forsaken mom needing pity. But merely planned phase one. Having her reside afforded ideal next stay. Id let settle secure believe refuge found. Then unexpected teach disparity, poor choice versus poor consequence. That eve I rang Mr. Lawson. Mr. Lawson need else. Tell Mrs. Harper. Probe Victor's debts. One exact owes, whom legal separate from daughter. Time but doable. Perfect. And Mr. Lawson absolute secrecy. None know I am behind. Certainly, Mrs. Harper may ask endgame. My endgame, Mr. Lawson, simple. Save daughter, but first comprehend true rock bottom. Hanging poured glass Scotch Thomas, reserved occasions. Long since such occasion. Game commenced first time weeks held winning hand. Sophia relocated next day. Arrived 2 bags, cardboard box remnants prior existence. I observed unpack old room teen, slept saw shame every motion. From luxury, sweet refuge childhood chamber. Mom found this sweet, she said displaying folder. Among Victor's items. Your name. Another Thomas folder. Heart raced but composed. My name odd. Yes see. Showed folder. Indeed my name, Thomas script but this smaller fresher. Perhaps Victor found dad's things, post-death forgot give. Sophia said possible. Macy. Opened presents. Inside brief note small key. Note read Alina, if reading post main folder means daughter tough phase. This key opens deposit box Citibank branch. Number 319. Something their aid help her but wisely. Eternal love Thomas. Sophia read shoulder. Deposit box dad had. Unaware. Neither I fibbed. Father never told. Think check contents. Don't know darling. Perhaps leave be. But mom perhaps vital. Papers or valuable aid us. Desperation evident. Sophia grasped any exit chance id. Let grasp longer pre-full reveal. All right I said post deliberate pause. Go tomorrow. That night Sophia I dined together first weeks. She cooked useful, but meal flavored remorse desperation. Detailed Asia events each worse prior. Victor lied all mom not venture but debts too. Thought minor owe, but over 120,000. Worst used my name some loans sans no. How? Forged signature. Married gave docs bank joint. Never thought misuse. Way prove unaware. Don't know. All tangled. Banks say married responsible anyway. Divorce. Don't know Victor where. Disappeared. Phone off. No emails. Vanished. Flawless. Victor fled rat, always leaving Sophia face actions alone. Way favored me. Now daughter felt betrayal trusted utterly. What I endured her abandon. Sorry darling. Unaware severity. Neither mom. Thought Victor loved. Build together, but tool get funds docs. Sophia wept anew. How so blind? Not see true him. Tempting say saw signs, tried warn Victor untrustworthy, but break compassionate vulnerable facade. Love blind sometimes darling. Blame not self. But mom ruined not my life, yours too. Treated horribly. Took cottage sedan, things give man abandoned first chance. Past Sophia. Fine. No, isn't. Now both trouble my errors. You lost dad's left, I lost marriage future. Two poor women surviving me. If knew I pondered moment, more money imaginable owner building, resided solve issues, single call. But time not yet. Next day bank went. Sophia anxious optimistic. I sustained confused widow finance, inept act. Bank staff guided boxes, checked ID, opened 319. Inside gems numerous rings, chains, bracelets, studs. Recognized some Thomas Kin heirlooms. Others novel. Also note detailing each origin approx worth. Sophia inhaled sharply. Mom, this fortune worth? Think so. Yes, see diamond sapphire ring. Mom, dad hid treasure. Per note, gems approx 150,000. Notable sum but fraction rest assets. Like finding pennies, mattress million bank. Do this, mom. Don't know, darling. Family keepsakes. But mom sell pieces. Money reclaim cottage, I pay some victor's debts. Again, even valuable find Sophia's. Initial thought, you solve Victor's messes. Learned nil yet. Sure use father's legacy, pay Victor's debts. Option what mom? If not pay soon bank seize all. Technically own all Victor's name. Think carefully, darling. Once sell gems can't retrieve. No, but else. Can't job legal hangs. No higher troubled. We took gems home. Sophia laid dining, examined each calculating cell keep. Painful see, reduce generations, history spreadsheet. Mom think 140,000 gems. She said one eve counting notes table. Less expected, but enough urgent debts. Sure do this. No choice. If not pay soon foreclose all. Even home risk if prove legal tie properties. Irony. Sophia fretted lose home I owned, paying abandoner's debts gems. Belonged man, created fortune save her. How decide pay first? Spoke free bank advisor. Said prioritize collateral debts, affect property lead quick seize. Sophia matured weeks. Woman sold my items sans consult, now probed every finance choice. Suffering made responsible, also vulnerable. That night as she sorted debt files, I got Mr. Lawson call. Mrs. Harper, full Victor's debts report. Worse thought. How worse? Owes over 150,000 banks, plus private. Concerning used fake doc's daughter sign some loans. Means Sophia legally liable. Complicated. If prove unaware, perhaps extricate some debts. Long costly process. How costly specialist lawyer. Likely 40,000 no success guarantee. See. If pays debts. If funds quickest but doubt access amount. Mr. Lawson prepared docs extricate daughter debts, but tell nil yet. You pay Mrs. Harper. Do necessary, protect daughter but handle specific way. Hanging found Sophia study gazing gems sad. What ponder darling? Dad. How disappointed see life mess. Father loved deeply Sophia. He'd comprehend. No mom. Taught responsibility, family value no selfish. Did opposite. Abandoned mother liar. Sold family memories money. Ruined built. First, since return heard true remorse her voice. Not just fallout lament, but admit moral wrong. People darling. Key learn them. How learn this mom? How repair damage? Question awaited. Sophia ready confront actions, consequences truth. But time not reveal final card. First let hit bottom fully. Next day's crucial plan. Sophia chose sell most gems keep wedding band Thomas, gave small brooch her grandma's. I watched prep jewel shops research, rates haggle buyers. Painful see reduce, decades history trades, but necessary grasp decisions wait. Mom got 140,000 gems, she told one afternoon counting bills table. Less expected, but enough pay most urgent debts. Sure want do this. No choice. If not pay soon, they'll foreclose everything. Even this house could be at risk if they prove some legal connection to the properties. How ironic the situation was. Sophia was worried about losing a house that I owned, paying the debts of a man who had abandoned her with money from gems that had belonged to the same man who had created the fortune that could save her. And how are you going to decide which debts to pay first? I talked to a free financial advisor at the bank. She told me to prioritize the debts that have real collateral, because those are the ones that can affect property or lead to immediate foreclosure. Sophia had matured so much in these few weeks. The woman who had sold my things without consulting me was now carefully investigating every financial decision. The suffering had made her more responsible, but also more fragile. That night, while she was organizing the debt documents on the table, I received a call from Mr. Lawson. "Mrs. Harper, I have important news. We managed to locate Victor." "Where is he?" "In Tokyo, just as your daughter suspected. But here's the interesting part. He's trying to get Japanese residency through a sham marriage with that young woman your daughter mentioned." "A sham marriage?" "Yes. Apparently the girl needs papers, and he needs a way to stay in Asia without being extradited. But the most important thing is that we found evidence that he deliberately falsified your daughter's documents with the intention of fleeing the country. That means Sophia can get out of the debts. With this evidence, yes, we can prove fraud and coercion. Your daughter won't have to pay anything for what Victor did behind her back. It was perfect. I had a way to save Sophia from all her debts, legally, without her suspecting that I had the money to do it. Mr. Lawson, I want you to start the legal process immediately. Don't tell my daughter anything yet. I want the process to be completely finished before I tell her. I don't want to give her false hope. Understood. This will take about 3 weeks, maybe a month." "Perfect." When I hung up, Sophia looked at me with curiosity. "Who was that, Mom?" "A friend asking about Mrs. Clark, our neighbor down the street." She had the wrong number. Lying had become easy. Every day that passed, I felt more comfortable with this double life I was leading. On one hand, I was the poor abandoned mother Sophia believed me to be. On the other, I was a wealthy woman, silently orchestrating my daughter's salvation and education. Over the next 2 weeks, I watched Sophia struggle with decisions she never had to make: how to stretch money for food, how to negotiate with creditors, how to look for a job when your credit history is ruined. It was a cruel but necessary education. "Mom, I went to 4 job interviews today," she told me one evening, coming home with sore feet and a weary face. 3 of them told me they can't hire me because of the pending legal problems. The 4th one offered me a part-time job stocking shelves at a warehouse overnight. "Are you going to take it?" "I have no choice. It pays little, but it's better than nothing, and I can work nights, so I can keep looking for something better during the day." Seeing my daughter, who had lived a comfortable life for over 40 years, preparing to stock shelves overnight, broke my heart. But it also filled me with pride. She was finally facing reality without expecting someone else to solve her problems. "Are you sure you can handle so much physical work?" "I'll have to learn. I can't keep being a burden to you, Mom. It's bad enough that you're letting me live here for free." "This is your home, Sophia." "No, Mom. This is your home, and I am here because of your generosity, but I am not going to take advantage of it forever." One night, while Sophia was on her first warehouse shift, Beatrice came to visit. She sat in the dining area with me, sipping coffee and looking at the family portraits on the shelves. "Elena, I have to ask you something. Did you know Sophia was going to come back in these conditions?" "What do you mean?" "Well, when she left, she seemed so confident, so haughty. She talked about the wonderful life she was going to have in Asia, about how successful Victor was. And now she's back completely broken, working a warehouse job, living with you again. Life has many twists, Beatrice. Yes, but there's something else. I've been watching Sophia these days, and she looks different. Not just sad, but grounded, as if she learned something vital. Beatrice had always been insightful. What do you think she learned? I think she learned the worth of the things she took for granted, like having a mother who loves her without conditions. Maybe. Beatrice, can I confide in you? When Sophia left and treated you so poorly, many of us thought you would never forgive her. But here you are taking care of her again, giving her a home when she has nowhere to go. She's my daughter, Beatrice. Yes, but not every mother would do what you're doing, especially after being treated the way you were. If Beatrice only knew the full truth that I had the power to solve all of Sophia's problems, but was choosing to let her suffer a little longer so she would learn the full lesson. Do you think I am doing the right thing? I think you're doing what a good mother would do, but I also think Sophia needs to fully understand what she lost when she abandoned you. What do you mean? I think she needs to value you, not just as the mother who rescues her when she's in trouble, but as the strong woman who built a stable life for 43 years. She needs to respect you, not just need you. Beatrice had nailed it. That was exactly the point of my entire plan. I didn't want Sophia to come back to me out of desperation. I wanted her to come back out of genuine respect and mature love. And how do you think that can happen? I think it's already happening. I've seen her these past few days, Alina. The way she talks to you now is completely different. She's no longer the daughter who gives you orders or treats you like a burden. Now she's a grown woman who is genuinely grateful to have a mother like you. That night when Sophia returned from her job, I saw her arrive exhausted, but with a new dignity. She had earned those few dollars with her own effort, and that meant something to her. How was your first day? Tough, but not as bad as I thought. The other workers there helped me a lot. One of them, Mrs. Ramirez, taught me tricks to stock faster. Mrs. Ramirez? Yes. She's 58 and has been working warehouses for 15 years. She started after her husband died, leaving her with 2 kids. She says it's not the career she wanted, but it gave her independence and pride. She sounds wise. She is. And she said something that made me think a lot. She told me there are 2 types of people who end up doing this job: the ones who are there because they never had opportunities, and the ones who are there because they squandered the opportunities they did have. She asked me which group I was in. And what did you tell her? I told her the truth, that I had all the opportunities in the world, a family that loved me, a stable home and inheritance, and that I ruined it all by following a worthless man. What did she say? She smiled and said, "Well, darling, then at least you know exactly why you're here. That puts you ahead of most." Sophia poured herself some juice and sat with me at the table. "Mom, I want you to know something. These past few weeks have been the hardest of my life, but also the most important." Why? Because I finally understand what really matters. It's not money. It's not living in the fanciest suite. It's not impressing others. It's having people who truly love you, who are there when everything collapses. Sophia, no. Let me finish. You have every right to hate me for what I did to you. I abandoned you when you needed me most. I took everything Dad left you. I treated you as if you were a nuisance. And now I'm here again, expecting you to forgive me and take care of me. I already forgave you, darling. But I haven't forgiven myself, and I want until I prove that I've truly changed, that I've learned from my mistakes. Mr. Lawson called me the next morning. "Mrs. Harper, I have excellent news. The legal process is almost complete. We can get your daughter out of all of Victor's debts." It was time. After weeks of watching Sophia struggle work and reflect on her mistakes, the moment had finally arrived to show her that she had never been alone, that she had always had someone quietly watching over her. "Mr. Lawson, I want you to organize a meeting. It's time for my daughter to know the whole truth. Mr. Lawson arranged the meeting for Thursday afternoon at his office. I told Sophia that I had scheduled an appointment with a lawyer who could help her with her legal problems, but I didn't explain the details. She agreed to come, although she was nervous about the cost of the consultation. "Mom, I don't have money to pay a lawyer. I barely have enough to cover basic expenses." "Don't worry about that now, darling. Let's just hear what he has to say." We arrived at Mr. Lawson's office on time. Sophia had dressed in her best clothes, which now looked a little loose on her slimmer frame. She was anxious, twisting her fingers, expecting another bad news in her long list of problems. Mr. Lawson greeted us with his usual professional smile. "Mrs. Harper, Miss Harper, thank you for coming." "Thank you for seeing us," Sophia replied. "Although I should warn you that my financial situation is very complicated, and I probably can't afford high fees." "That's exactly what we're going to talk about," Mr. Lawson said, exchanging a look with me. "But first, I need you to review these documents." Mr. Lawson handed Sophia a thick folder. She opened it and began to read, her expression changing from confusion to surprise. "I don't understand. These documents say that Victor forged my signature, that there is evidence of fraud, that I am not responsible for the debts." "That's right. We have been investigating your case for the past few weeks. We found enough evidence to prove that you were a victim of identity fraud." "But how is that possible? Who paid for this investigation?" "I don't have money for this." Mr. Lawson looked at me. It was my moment. "Sophia, there's something I need to tell you." "What, Mom?" I took a deep breath. After weeks of acting, I was finally going to reveal the truth. "Your father left me more than you knew." "Much more." "What do you mean, Mr. Lawson?" "Show her the other documents." Mr. Lawson took out a second folder and handed it to Sophia. This time, the documents were the property titles, the bank statements, the investment certificates, the entire fortune Thomas had built in secret. Sophia read in silence for several minutes. Her face went through a range of emotions: confusion, disbelief, shock, and finally understanding. "Mom, this says you are the owner of the office complex where I lived." "Yes." "And that you have other properties, bank accounts, investments." "Yes." "This means that when I sold the lakeside cottage, it was your house, and the sale was fraudulent." "I already got it back." Sophia stared at the papers, trying to process the information. "How long have you known this?" "Since the day you called me from the pharmacy, you knew all this when I came back from Asia, asking for help." "Yes." "You knew you could solve all my problems when you saw me crying every night." "Yes." There was a long, tense silence. Sophia closed the folders and looked directly into my eyes. "Why, Mom? Why did you let me suffer when you could have helped me?" This was the question I had been waiting for weeks. "Because you needed to learn something you couldn't learn any other." "What?" "You needed to learn the value of the things you had lost. The value of family, of respect, of responsibility. When you abandoned me, it wasn't just money you took from me. It was dignity. It was love. It was trust." Sophia started to cry, but they weren't tears of self-pity like the ones she had shed during these weeks. They were tears of deep understanding. "I abandoned you when you needed me most." "Yes." "I treated you like garbage." "Yes." "And you saved me anyway." "Yes, but not in the way you expected. I didn't save you by giving you money so you could keep making the same mistakes. I saved you by letting you hit rock bottom so you could learn to save yourself." Mr. Lawson discreetly intervened. "Miss Harper, your mother, has paid all the legal expenses to free you from Victor's debts. She has also recovered all the properties that were sold fraudulently. You are completely free of legal problems. And the warehouse job I got. You can quit if you want," I said. "But I hope you don't." "Why?" "Because that job is teaching you something you never learned when everything was easy. It's teaching you the value of your own effort, The dignity of honest work, the importance of valuing every dollar you earn. Sophia wiped her tears and looked at me with an expression I hadn't seen in years. It wasn't the look of a daughter who needs her mother, but the look of a grown woman who respects another woman. Do you forgive me, Mom? I forgave you a long time ago, darling. The question is, can you forgive yourself? I don't know if I can. I did unforgivable things. People make mistakes, Sophia. The important thing is what we do after we recognize those mistakes. Mr. Lawson left us alone in his office for a few minutes. Sophia and I sat in silence, processing everything that had happened. Mom, I want you to know something. Even if you didn't have all this money, even if you were really the poor widow I thought you were, I would have learned the same lesson. What lesson? That there is nothing more valuable than having someone who loves you unconditionally. During these past few weeks, the only thing that kept me sane was knowing I had a home with you. That no matter how much I had ruined my life, you were still my mother. That will never change, Sophia. I know. But I also know that I can never take that love for granted again. I have to earn it every day with respect, with gratitude, with actions, not just words. We left Mr. Lawson's office with a completely new relationship. We were no longer mother and daughter united by blood and habit. We were two grown women who had chosen each other after going through the most difficult test imaginable. The following weeks were about rebuilding, but not the kind Sophia expected. Even though she now knew I had enough resources to solve all her problems, she decided to keep her overnight warehouse job. Mom, I need to finish what I started, she told me one afternoon as she was getting ready for work. I can't just go back to a comfortable life as if nothing happened. Are you sure? You don't have to punish yourself forever. It's not a punishment. It's a way of remembering who I was and who I want to be now. I watched her put on her work uniform, something unthinkable a few months ago, when she lived in the luxury suite with Victor. But there was something different in her posture, in the way she moved. She was no longer the broken woman who had arrived crying at my door. She was someone who had found dignity in honest work. Beatrice came to visit that afternoon, as she had done every few days since Sophia had returned. She had become a confidant to both of us, watching our transformation with fascination. Elena, I have to confess, something, she said, pouring herself a second cup of coffee. At first, I thought you were very cruel to Sophia. And what do you think now? Now I think you were the wisest mother I've ever known. Look at your daughter. Really look at her. It was true. The Sophia who was in the study reviewing her notes was completely different from the one who had left for Asia months ago. This Sophia had a serenity that came from within, a confidence that was based on her own achievements, not on material possessions. Did you know I saw Sophia at the market yesterday buying supplies for a colleague? She's helping through her job. She hadn't told me. And when I asked her why she was using her own money, instead of the company budget, she told me that some things can't be measured in official budgets. That night, Sophia and I had dinner on the deck, something that had become a tradition. It was our time to talk about the day plan for the future and simply enjoy each other's company. Mom, I received a very strange letter today, she said, slicing her fruit. From whom? From Victor. My body tensed. Victor. He wrote to you. From where? From jail in Japan. Apparently, he was sentenced to 18 months for marriage fraud. In the letter, he says he regrets everything he did and wants to ask for my forgiveness. And how do you feel about it? Honestly, I don't feel anything. No anger, no sadness, no desire for revenge. It's as if that part of my life happened years ago, not months ago. Are you going to write back? No. Not because I hate him, but because there's nothing to say. The Sophia who married him no longer exists. This Sophia has nothing to discuss with him. I was impressed by the maturity in her voice. The woman sitting across from me had developed an inner strength that came from hitting rock bottom and rising on her own. Do you know what this whole experience taught me, Mom? What? That true love isn't the one that tells you what you want to hear. True love is the one that teaches you what you need to learn, even when it hurts. It's a difficult lesson to learn, but it's a necessary one. Victor told me what I wanted to hear. He made me feel special. He convinced me that I deserved a life of luxury without effort. You taught me that true wealth comes from hard work, respect, and genuine relationships. That night after Sophia went to her room to rest, I sat on the deck alone, looking at the clouds and thinking about Thomas. I had promised him I would take care of our daughter, and I finally felt I had fulfilled that promise in the right way. I hadn't taken care of her by giving her money when she needed it. I had taken care of her by teaching her to take care of herself. I hadn't saved her by solving her problems. I had saved her by allowing her to learn to solve them on her own. The next day was Saturday, and we had planned to visit the lakeside cottage together for the first time since I had gotten it back. Sophia hadn't wanted to go before saying she needed time to process everything that had happened. "Are you ready?" I asked her as we got into the sedan. "I think so." The drive was quiet but comfortable. When we arrived, Sophia sat for a moment in the sedan, looking at the cottage where we had spent so many family winters. "It looks exactly the same," she said finally. "Some things don't change, but others do. I am not the same person who sold this cottage." We went in together. The cottage was clean and tidy, exactly as Thomas, and I had kept it for years. Sophia walked through each room, touching the furniture and looking at the family photos that hung on the walls. "Mom, I want to apologize." "You already apologized, darling." "No, I want to apologize specifically for this cottage. Not just for selling it, but for reducing all our family memories to a business deal. It's forgiven. This cottage represents 38 years of family winters, of celebrations of holidays. Dad installed that deck himself. You grew that herb garden. I learned to fish on that lake. And I turned it all into cash to fund the escapade of a worthless man." She sat on the chair where Thomas used to nap on lazy afternoons. "Do you know what hurts me the most?" "What?" "That when I sold it, I didn't feel anything. It was just another asset. Now being here again, I can feel Dad in every corner. I can hear his stories, smell his evening tea, see his hat on the hook. He is Air Sophia. He has always been here. I know. And I also know that he is proud of how you handled all of this." We spent the whole day at the cottage, preparing meals, cleaning, and repairing small things. It was like a ritual of reconnection, not just with the place, but with the values that place represented. When the sun began to set, we sat on the deck Thomas had installed, looking at the lake. "Mom, I have an idea." "What is it?" "I want us to turn this cottage into a retreat for families recovering from financial hardship, a place where they can stay while they get back on their feet." It was the perfect idea. Thomas would have loved the thought that his lakeside cottage would serve to help other families. "I think that's a wonderful idea, darling. We can use some of the foundation's resources to maintain it, and I can manage the program through my work." "Are you sure you want to turn our family haven into that, Mom?" "The best havens are the ones that are shared. Dad always said that a home isn't truly alive until it welcomes others who need support." He was right. Thomas had always been open with our home, hosting friends and kin in need. We returned home that night with a new project and a completely renewed relationship. We were no longer mother and daughter bound by duty or necessity. We were two women who had consciously chosen to build a life together based on love, respect, and a shared purpose. That night before sleeping, I spoke to Thomas silently. "We did it, my love. Our daughter finally understood what truly matters." And for the first time since his death, I felt he replied, "I always knew you would. You are both stronger than you think." Justice had come not as vengeance, but as teaching, not as penalty, but as growth. And in the end, we had both gained something far more precious than wealth. We had gained a real bond, built on a strong base that no future storm could shatter.